Which developed country do you think has the highest percentage of its people in prison? The answer may surprise you. It is the United States. In fact, if you want to look at the whole world, the only country that beats us is the small country of Seychelles. Since we lock up people at such a high rate, it is time for us to consider what prison is for and how to improve it. I've thought a lot about prison. I even wrote about it in college. It can be for punishment, protection of society, prevention of crime, or for rehabilitation. Today we are going to talk about rehabilitation mostly, and touch on punishment and a bit on protection. Hi, my name is Whitney Levis. Today I'm going to tell you about my newest favorite charity, Unloop. Unloop founders include my friend Lindsay Wilson. Unloop uses computer programming education to help break the cycle of prison. Unloop goes into prisons and teaches people on the inside to code. They are a young organization and have started small. They started with 2 approaches. They support other groups already bootstrapped by folks in prison, like the Teach program in Column Bay that I volunteered with. And they did one-day workshops with robots. They have now started their next phase, teaching full-stack web development, and this program will prepare students for programming jobs when they are released. Lindsay Wilson gave an excellent talk at the programming conference Open Source and Feelings about Unloop. There's a link to the talk in the description in case you'd like a longer video with more detail. There are many good reasons to teach folks on the inside to code, but a big one for me is decreasing recidivism. Recidivism is the measurement of what portion of people go back to prison again after getting out. 40% of people go back to prison within 3 years. 66% of people can't find work within 3 months. Imagine this. Imagine you have paid your debt to society, and when you get out, you have to take care of your family. Imagine you can't find a job. This may have been how you got into crime in the first place, but in any case, if you can't find work, then you won't have very many options for survival. Coding is a job skill that isn't prevalent yet, and is going to be increasingly needed in this internet-connected world. It is a young industry that needs skilled labor, so the barrier to getting a job is lower if you have the knowledge. Getting released folk back into the workforce is the best way we can reduce recidivism. Now let's talk a bit about punishment. Jail sucks. I went in to volunteer with the Teach program that Unloop helps with. Even though everything went well, it was a place different than I had ever experienced. I was only there for a few hours, but I could not imagine what it would be like to be there for years on end. With my limited experience, there is no doubt in my mind that folks in prison are punished by being incarcerated. Education can help make the time in prison a bit more bearable. Talking with the men I met there, I had never seen so much passion for learning. In their coding program, they would borrow books to take back to their cells, so that they could learn more programming when they weren't in class. Learning to code in prison is a lot harder than learning to code outside. For one thing, we have the internet to help us. When I learned to code, I had all the tools available to me, and it was still really hard. Learning to code is not easy, but the way that it's hard makes you a better person. It made me a better person. It teaches perseverance, rigor in thinking, interdependence, compassion, and humility. When I think of rehabilitation, these are definitely qualities that I want to include. When I was volunteering, we got to talk to the students of the Teach program, and many of them said that they had never been so emotionally vulnerable in prison as in this class. That they had gone through many classes in prison, but none like this had given them the skills to make themselves better. They had been in talk groups with other members of the class, but had never connected like they do through coding. If that isn't rehabilitation, I don't know what is. But let's talk about protection now. Some folks are never released. At their trial, it was determined that they will always be a danger to us on the outside. I met one such man when I was volunteering. He said he was working extra hard in the program because he wants to be able to teach the class. He wants to make a difference for the guys who will get out, so that they can change their lives and not come back to prison. He is going to be stepping up faster than he expected. The TEACH program is currently taught by other prisoners. Those teachers are being transferred for good behavior. That is another thing about prison. You can't decide where you go. You can be transferred to a new place and have to start all over. The programs you were in before may not be present at your new home. This lifer, however, likely always will be maximum security. If he can learn to program well enough to teach it, the TEACH program can continue in Column Bay long term. I am thankful that he has this program so he can pour his energy into something that has meaning and purpose. Unloop's new program teaches full-stack web development. It is a rigorous and compassionate coding boot camp, much like my experience at Ada Developers Academy. Unloop has the potential to impact many people in society. It helps folks in prison for sure, but it also helps the community of folks they interact with on the inside, and it helps their families when they leave. Decreasing recidivism also means decreasing crime, which also means that it impacts society by creating fewer victims of crime. If you think these are worthy goals to pursue, please vote for this video on the Project for Awesome website, and check out their Indiegogo campaign for products only available during the Project for Awesome. Money raised will go to charities with the most votes. And remember, don't forget to be awesome.